we are going to be accepting ourselves, learning to accept ourselves. The greatest gift you can ever give yourself is to literally just accept yourself, to be in love with the process and the adventure of life with yourself, to see how beautiful it was to be you, to live this life, to give these gifts, to have this perception or this understanding or this interpretation of life, how much power you truly hold. And we're going to make sure that in this session you remember how beautiful your story is, no matter what it looks like, how beautiful it truly is. Okay? If you're new to the community, sit back and relax. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. EST, or whatever your local time is. Okay? And it's Surprise April, Surprise November, is a giveaway. The giveaway is you could win an energetic wellness kit, or you could win a year's subscription to the Patreon community, where people go to develop their abilities, magical, mystical, things like that. So if you want to already just be a part of the community already, you can go and do that, and you get access to all the stuff we've been working on before. And if you want to enter to win either one of those things, all you have to do is answer this. If you had a second chance at life, at whatever, if you had a second chance, what would you do? If you had a second chance, what would you do? Go ahead and comment that in the comment section of any of these videos, and I can express to you how you could literally change your life or another person's life just by sharing your story. We are this community, we are this collective, we are all of these stories together, and your voice and your story matters. So if you would like to share and potentially win, go ahead and put that in the comment section of the video. I'm so excited. Well, we start our session off with a prayer. It is not a religious prayer. It is just a prayer to root us in our individual healing experience and bring us together as a community. And because consent matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Cool. Can I touch you? Okay. Dear Mother, Father, God, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to the Reiki Masters, the Ascended Masters, Master Jesus, Master Buddha, Master Katumi, Yamoja, Oshun, Mawu, and all the Taras. Please connect us to the Archangel, Spirit Guides, Animal Guides, Lineage, Ancestors, and all for our highest vibrational good only, rooting us down in our individual healing experience and bringing us forth as a community. I say all of this in the name of I Am, Ashe. Ashe, Ashe. Okay, so first things first, I have a cute little clear quartz wand. Might have to whip out the papaya for smiles. It's a real thing. Those things take forever to ripen, apparently. So might tap on that. But you are amazing. You have a beautiful story. And I wonder, how many times do you really check in with yourself and remember the story that you have, that you are building even to this day? It's better than a movie, okay? How many times have there been like highs, peaks, and valleys? You know, way more than a movie, right? Sometimes it's actually externally, like peak and valley. Sometimes it's internally, sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's like, whoa, you look back at yourself like, what the fuck was that? And then other times you're like, wasn't that big of a deal. But who you are, how you are, and who you truly feel like on the inside, more so than just like, okay, if you're in a, a coding environment, you say this. If you're in a cooking environment, you say that. Not like that, like literally, like what are the references, the actual community things that you can talk about, that can you be yourself. I worked in higher education for 10 years. Yes, I know I look like a child. I am not. Y'all all think I'm 20, which I will take. I am not 20 though, but I'll take that. Whatever. So I started my career at 10 apparently anyway. So I worked in higher education for 10 years. And I remember how tough it was for me to feel accepted. Not because anybody was mean. I wasn't experienced that at all. But I just had a very different life experience than most of the people that I was working with. And that kind of created this strange existential crisis, like when I went to college. Because up until that point, I had thought, like, wow, I worked so hard to get there. I was the first one in my family to go to college. I knew nothing about navigating higher education. I had no money. I didn't come from money. I just was out here figuring it out on my own. And I thought, wow, I'm at college because everyone probably worked as hard as I did to get here. Just the struggle to get there. And when I got there, what I realized is that there's a lot of people who just had like the path laid out for them and they just had to show up. And I kind of thought that when I was in undergrad, but when I started working at the university, I knew that. I saw it. I was like, whoa, like the entitlement was real. And on top of that, the like lack of motivation. And it kind of caused this existential crisis within me where I was like, why me? And it created this feeling of not feeling like I was enough. Why did I have to go through that? Now, given the perspective, it is not about looking to see who had the worst life, who had the better life. It's not about that at all. All the external parts really don't matter. The more important part is the moment that I stop believing in myself, instead of thinking like, wow, I'm badass for figuring this the fuck out, It was feeling in that moment of wanting to be connected, wanting to finally find a community, and then realize again, oh, well, one of the few people of color in a lot of spaces. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is okay. But as I got older and realized that if I had, this could be my second chance, if I had just continued to love who I was, share my story, I could have much more easily and readily inspired everyone. It doesn't really matter what it was, to go above and beyond, to do more than they think. Because then I started to think, like, how many of these kids who are just kind of given a path and they can just walk through it, how many of them actually want to be there? Maybe they want to be doing some other shit themselves. So just to feel inspired to live the life the way that you want to live is, I think, a commonality that goes across. And that's the fun part, And then each and every year, as I got older and older, I started to just be more comfortable with myself, to like myself, to be like, you don't like me, you can kick rocks. And then I just started to fall in love with the process of life. Because that's the fun part of it all, I think a lot of what happens here at Reiki Healing Hope is, sharing the wisdom of life. And my intention is to help you navigate through those moments, those sticky moments, or to supercharge you during those like energetic, those fun moments, like you're like, this is a peak. But it comes through having a journey. And I'm still in the middle of my journey, baby. I'm gonna be in the middle of the journey the entire your practice, your healing, your self healing is the most important thing you can do. And then everything else is just icing on the cake. And so, a part of the journey is you're never going to know enough. You're never going to be at the level of, oh, you're an expert and you don't need to ask any more questions, because life would really, 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 really suck if like you got there that quick and then you just had nothing else to do. I always teach them to use these experiences as stepping stones into other modalities, or stepping stones into a new path in your life. And life is cyclical. Sometimes people think about it in the way of like, oh, we go through a difficult cycle and think, thank you, finally we're at the other end and it's just smooth sailing. But we're going through constant cycles at the same time. We end this difficult one, we may still be on one that's probably not even that difficult, or there's just things that go. And really what it is, it's just reinforcing us or teaching us to learn how to behave in a new way than the way we used to do. And the only way that we can show that we are different, or we're going to react different or respond differently, is by having an opportunity to show that we are going to respond differently through these cyclical things. So they're not a bad thing. But I think with age comes this openness of being like, fuck it, I'ma just be myself. It really is that. Like, it just is. It's funny, the more that I learn about myself, the more I continue to go on this journey with myself, the more I realize that years that I thought that I was so introverted, I realized that I was just in the wrong roles. Like ROLES. Like, I was in the wrong roles, I was in the wrong positions. I wasn't really doing things in the way that my heart wanted to do things. I was doing things based off of my fear and wanting to be protected, and when I built it up in my head. But the more I started to take those layers away, the more I started to realize how actually extroverted I am. I love people. experience all the normal range of human emotions, in case you were wondering. But at the end of the day, I get this immense sense of peace and connectedness knowing that I am living my purpose out each and every day. Oh, shout out to the podcast Organize Your Purpose on all streaming platforms. Well, family, I want you to sit and just take a moment with yourself, okay? If you had a second chance, what would you do? If you had a second chance, what would you do? I want you to comment that in the comment section. You never know how you could change your life or change someone else's life just by them reading your story. And this is a place to share the experience, and I cannot wait to read that. Well, if no one has said